Academic excellence was their legacy, and political power their pedigree. The task is simple. We ask each of you to nominate the person you believe would make the best head girl. To becoming head girl seemed assured after she easily sailed through the initial interviews. Leadership. St. Jude's Secondary School, the prestigious school, glittered under the morning sun. Its reputation was built on tradition, academic rigor, and a long line of powerful alumni. Students were celebrated, envied, and held to the highest standard. But no student shone brighter than Gbemi. An art student, she had done the unthinkable. She won overall best student in SS1, leaving all her science and commercial peers behind. The trophy case now overflowed with her awards. Every major public event, every high-profile debate, Gbemi was the face of St. Jude's. She carried the school's honor like a crown, effortlessly commanding every room she entered. Now the air was thick with the scent of ambition. It was time to select the new set of prefects, and the head girl role was the most coveted prize. In the hushed staff room, the whispers turned into confident pronouncements. Mr. Bello adjusted his glasses and leaned closer to Mrs. Attawale. Gbemi is the obvious choice for head girl, Mr. Bello confided. Her record is impeccable. The school has never had a student this accomplished. Mrs. Attawale nodded in full agreement. Gbemi, walking past the staff room door, caught the end of the conversation. Obvious choice. The consensus warmed her, but it also made the air around her suddenly feel thin and heavy. The first round of interviews arrived. Gbemi was confident in her words, but her heart was a furious drumbeat beneath her chest. She knew the challenge wasn't her own merit. It was history. For decades, the highest office had belonged to a science student. It was a silent, unwritten rule, a tradition as solid as the school's foundation. Could an art student truly lead a prestigious school founded on logic and numbers? The door closed behind her. The selection process had begun, pitting immense talent against entrenched tradition. Not every star shines brightest at the finish line, but Gbemi was ready to light a new path, no matter the cost. The atmosphere in the room was thick with anticipation, and the air crackled with a silent, sharp ambition. The panel was led by the school's formidable head of discipline, Mr. Okoro. Leaned forward, his voice a low rumble. The task is simple. We ask each of you to nominate the person you believe would make the best head girl. He gestured for the nominations to begin. First, Bimpe, then Teo, an ambitious commercial student, spoke. I nominate Gbemi. Chioma, the bright and friendly science student, went next, her smile unwavering. I also nominate Gbemi. The attention of the entire room and the weight of 3 nominations settled squarely on Gbemi's shoulders. It was her turn. Gbemi felt a sudden, crushing fear. The fear of appearing too eager, too hungry for power. A lifetime of being told that humility was the highest virtue made her mind up in an instant. She would deflect. She would be humble. She looked up, offering a bright, practiced smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. When asked for her nomination, Gbemi blurts out, I nominate Chioma. She is very dedicated and capable. A hush fell over the room. Then came Dara, a quiet but intense student and the last to speak. She did not smile. She did not hesitate. Her gaze was fixed firmly on Mr. Okoro as she spoke calmly and unapologetically. I nominate myself. I believe I possess the vision and leadership qualities St. Jude's needs. Dara's self-advocacy was a shock, a sudden crack in the polished facade of the interview. Yet, the panel's focus did not linger on her courage. Instead, their eyes, especially Mr. Okoro's and Mrs. Adu's, immediately swiveled back to Gbemi, studying her humble deflection. The silence was heavy, a thick, suffocating blanket. Gbemi's practiced smile crumbled. Had her choice to appear humble, to shun the label of power-hungry, just cost her the one thing she had worked so hard to achieve? The interview panel, a solemn row of teachers, had already dismissed the other 3 hopefuls. All eyes now were fixed on Gbemi, the art student who had shockingly claimed the title of overall best student in all of SS1. Gbemi was the star, a quiet genius in a yellow and white uniform. Her peers had voted overwhelmingly for her to be their head girl. Yet, she had not nominated herself. Mr. Okoro, the head of discipline, leaned forward. The air pressure in the room seemed to drop. He didn't ask about her grades or her vision. He went straight for the core of her silence. "Gubemi," he asked with cold precision, "why didn't you nominate yourself? Your unwillingness to publicly own your capability suggests a lack of confidence in your fitness for the role." The panel wasn't looking for shared power or humility. They were looking for the confident, self-assured assertion that a head girl would need to manage St. Jude's and its demanding alumni. Gubemi stammered a defense about teamwork and shared leadership. She spoke of empowering others, not overpowering them. But the words were weak and hollow, even to her own ears. Mr. Okoro simply stared, his gaze brutal and unwavering. Why should we choose a leader who cannot nominate herself? The question hung in the silence like a physical weight, forever etched in Gubemi's memory. The interview ended abruptly. Gubemi walked out, the guilt of her missed moment a tight, painful knot in her chest. She had been honest, but she had failed the test of ambition. The grand inauguration was just days away. The whole school expected their star to be crowned. But after that damning question, would Gubemi be publicly humbled, or could quiet excellence still triumph? The audacity of the crown. The sun beat down on the assembly hall of St. Jude's Secondary School. The prestigious school was a fortress of yellow and white, known for forging governors and CEOs. Today, all eyes were on the podium for the prefect's inauguration. Gubemi, the best student in Senior Secondary 1, an art student who had outshone every science and commercial peer, felt a familiar hum of anticipation. Head girl. That was the unspoken expectation. That was the crown she was ready for. Principal Oladeji's voice boomed. We now proceed to the senior prefect body. The announcements began in reverse. Deputy Kitchen Prefect, then Assistant Health Prefect, building the tension like a slow drum roll leading to a grand solo. Finally, the top posts, and now the senior prefect body's top female roles, Principal Oladeji announced. Gubemi took a deep breath. She could feel the collective gaze of her classmates, especially her friend Chioma, standing a few rows away. The female social prefect is Miss Gbemisola Adebayo. The name was called, but the title was wrong. Female social prefect, respectable, yes. The third female post in hierarchy, but not head girl, not the crown. A ripple of confused murmurs went through the hall. Gubemi forced a smile and walked up, accepting the yellow sash. As she descended the stage, she heard the next announcement. The head girl of St. Jude's for the 2023-2024 session is Miss Kioma Okoro. Next came the shock that sealed the deal. And the assistant head girl, appointed to ensure the academic tradition, is Miss Sara Danjuma, a science student, daughter of a senior teacher, and one who wasn't even in the final interview pool. Whispers about tradition and favoritism followed Gubemi all through the year. She threw herself into her social prefect role, still top of her class, but the fire had dimmed. I was waiting for others to crown me. Years later, a successful university graduate, Gubemi fully understood the cost. It wasn't just nepotism or being an art student, it was a failure of personal branding. Her product, her excellence, was superb, but she failed at self-advocacy. That day, she learned that competence must be paired with audacious confidence. You have to nominate yourself, even when no one asks. The most powerful brand is the one that believes in itself enough to put its name on the ballot. Dive into Gubemi's full, raw journey of self-discovery in her creative memoir, New Cheese, via link up in the description.